Welcome back, deep divers. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of money, but not just how to make it or spend it. We're going deeper.
Yeah, exploring like the hidden history and psychology behind it all, like
Right. Think of it as cracking the code of a system that's been running for over 5,000 years.
the money algorithm.
Exactly. The money algorithm. Now,
We've got two great sources to guide us today.
yeah, what are those?
The money algorithm, the 5,000-year secret they don't want you to know, and the psychology of money.
I love it. Okay, so before we even had fancy apps and credit cards, how did people even trade? I mean, imagine trying to buy groceries with a cow.
Right. Well, that's where bartering comes in.
Okay.
This ancient system where people just directly exchanged goods and services.
No?
You mentioned a cow for wheat, but like, what if the wheat farmer already had enough cows?
Yeah, that doesn't really work out.
Exactly. That's the problem with bartering. It's inefficient and relies on a double coincidence of wants.
So how did we get from bartering to coins and cash? What's the missing link in this money algorithm?
The key was developing standardized ways to represent value.
Okay.
One of the earliest examples is from Mesopotamia around 3000 BC.
Wow.
They used cuneiform tablets to record transactions of grain and silver.
Huh.
Think of it like ancient IOUs.
IOUs carved in clay. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But those aren't exactly pocket change. When did actual coins come into play?
Well, around 600 BC, the Lydians minted the first standardized coins made of electrum, a naturally occurring mix of gold and silver, revolutionary.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you had a portable, divisible, and durable representation of value.
So trust and a shared belief in this system, essential parts of the money algorithm.
For sure.
But the videos also point out that our emotions, like fear and greed,
Oh, yeah.
play a huge role in our financial decisions.
Absolutely. Our brains are wired to react more strongly to potential losses than to gains.
Oh, interesting.
This loss aversion is why we sometimes make irrational choices like selling investments during a market dip, even though logically it might be the worst time to sell.
So our emotions can hijack our financial decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Is this where that whole buy low, sell high wisdom comes from? Like, how do we outsmart our own brains when it comes to money?
That's where financial literacy comes in.
Okay.
The more you understand how money works, the better equipped you are to make rational decisions.
Right.
Even when your emotions are screaming otherwise.
Yeah.
One of the videos highlights the importance of diversifying your knowledge, not just your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, literally or intellectually.
That's such great advice. If any of you deep divers have any tips or resources on financial literacy, share them in the comments. We'd love to hear what's worked for you.
Now, this whole idea of loss aversion, it makes me think about those impulse purchases we all regret. Is that our amygdala acting up?
You got it. The amygdala, our brain's fear center,
Right.
plays a significant role in financial decisions. That rush of panic when you see a limited time offer.
Oh, yeah.
Blame your amygdala.
Understanding this can help you recognize when your emotions are driving the bus and pause before making impulsive choices.
This money algorithm is getting more and more intriguing. It's like a combination of historical forces, shared beliefs, and our own hardwired psychology.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating.
It is, and here's where it gets really interesting. Knowing how the money algorithm works and how it can be manipulated can empower you to make more informed financial decisions.
So interesting. We'll be right back with more of this deep dive into the money algorithm.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for the financial world. We've talked about the ancient origins and the psychology behind the money algorithm, but it doesn't just stop there.
Right.
This algorithm has been evolving alongside society for centuries.
So it's not just some static set of rules. How has it changed over time?
I mean, think about it. We've gone from bartering to coins to paper money to digital currencies.
Right.
Each step has brought new complexities and opportunities for both innovation and manipulation.
That makes sense. So what are some key turning points in the evolution of this money algorithm?
Well, one major shift happened during the Renaissance with the rise of banking in Italy. Families like the Medicis essentially invented modern banking, introducing concepts like loans, interest, and even international finance.
It's amazing how these historical figures shaped the financial systems we still use today. But with these new systems come new risks, right?
Absolutely. Take fractional reserve banking, for example.
Okay.
It's a system where banks lend out more money than they actually have in reserves.
Wait, how does that even work? It sounds like they're creating money out of thin air.
In a way, they are. This practice allows for economic growth by increasing the money supply,
Okay.
but it also creates the potential for instability. If everyone suddenly tries to withdraw their money at the same time,
Yeah.
a classic bank run, the system can collapse.
That explains why bank runs were such a big deal in the past. And I guess this also highlights the importance of trust in the entire financial system.
Precisely, trust is the bedrock of the money algorithm. And speaking of trust, or rather the lack of it, let's revisit the tulip mania we touched on earlier.
Ah, yes, the infamous tulip craze. How does that fit into the evolution of the money algorithm?
Tulip mania is a classic example of a speculative bubble fueled by fear and greed.
Right.
Those same emotions we talked about earlier, in the 17th century, people went crazy for tulips.
Oh, wow.
Driving the prices to absurd levels. Some bulbs were worth more than houses.
It's wild to think that something as simple as a flower could cause such economic chaos.
But that's the power of the money algorithm. It taps into our deepest desires and fears, and throughout history, we've seen how these emotions can be manipulated,
Right.
leading to financial bubbles and crashes.
So it's not just tulips. Are there other historical examples of this manipulation playing out?
Oh, definitely. The dot-com bubble of the late 1990s and the housing crisis of the 2000s are more recent examples. We see these patterns repeating throughout history, periods of irrational exuberance followed by painful crashes. Understanding these cycles can help us avoid making the same mistakes.
So knowing this money algorithm is like having a superpower. It gives you this insider's perspective on how financial systems really work, and might even help you make better decisions with your own money. Speaking of which, how does the rise of digital currencies like Bitcoin fit into all of this? Are they changing the game entirely?
That's a great question. Cryptocurrencies represent a potential paradigm shift in how we think about money. They operate independently of central banks and traditional financial institutions,
Right.
relying on blockchain technology to create a decentralized and transparent system.
It's like the Wild West of finance, but with cutting-edge technology.
Yeah.
But even with these new technologies, are the fundamental principles of the money algorithm still in play?
Absolutely. Scarcity trust and a shared belief in the system's value, these are all essential elements.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether we're talking about gold coins or digital tokens, the form may change, but the underlying principles remain remarkably consistent.
It's mind-blowing to think about how this money algorithm has been shaping our world for thousands of years. But what does all this mean for us on a practical level? How can we use this knowledge to navigate our own financial lives?
That's the million-dollar question. We'll explore those practical applications and empower you with the knowledge to take control of your financial destiny when we return for the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back, Deep Divers. We've journeyed through the history and psychology of the money algorithm, uncovering its evolution and potential for manipulation. But now let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
How can we use this knowledge to our advantage in our own financial lives?
That's the key question, isn't it? Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to finances.
One of the videos emphasized financial literacy as a crucial first step. It really resonated with me when they said, diversify your knowledge, not just your investments.
That's such a powerful statement.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just spread your money around. You need to diversify your understanding of how money works, how it's created, and how it can be manipulated.
So where do we even begin? It can feel overwhelming with so much information out there.
We'll start with the basics. Understand different investment strategies. Learn how to read financial statements. Research different asset classes like stocks, bonds, and real estate. There are tons of great resources available online at your local library or even through community workshops.
It's like learning a new language, the language of money.
Exactly.
And just like learning any language, it takes time, effort, and a willingness to keep learning.
Exactly. Financial literacy is an ongoing journey, not a destination. And remember, we all have unique financial DNA.
Oh, yeah.
Shaped by our upbringing experiences and the financial habits of our families.
It's like those invisible money scripts we inherit without even realizing it.
Right.
So taking a step back and reflecting on how your past might be influencing your money decisions today is key.
Yeah, self-awareness is crucial.
Oh.
Once you understand your own financial biases and tendencies, you can start making more conscious and informed choices.
Okay, so we've got financial literacy and self-awareness. What other tools can help us navigate this money algorithm?
One of the most powerful forces in finance, and one we haven't touched on yet, is the magic of compounding.
Okay.
Warren Buffett, arguably the most successful investor of all time,
Right.
accumulated most of his wealth after he turned 60.
Wait, really? Most of his wealth after 60?
Yeah.
But he's been investing for decades. How is that even possible?
It highlights the power of time and consistent investing. Compounding is like a snowball rolling downhill.
Okay.
It starts small, but as it gathers momentum, it grows exponentially. The earlier you start investing, even if it's just a small amount, the more time your money has to compound and grow.
So time is our greatest ally when it comes to building wealth.
Absolutely. There's a great example in one of the videos comparing Warren Buffett and Jim Simons, a brilliant mathematician and hedge fund manager.
Okay.
Simons achieved much higher annual returns than Buffett.
Okay.
But he started investing much later in life. As a result, Buffett's overall wealth far surpassed Simons's simply because he had time on his side.
That's incredible. It makes you realize that starting early, even with small amounts, can have a huge impact in the long run. But what about the risks? Investing always feels a bit like gambling.
That's where understanding the nature of the stock market is crucial. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right.
One of the videos had this great analogy. Trying to time the market is like trying to steal a car.
Ooh.
It's risky and rarely successful.
So slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. The stock market is a long game.
Right.
You have to be prepared for ups and downs, for volatility and uncertainty. That's the price you pay for the potential rewards.
So patience and a long-term perspective are key. But it's not just about money, is it? What about the price of happiness? The videos also explored this idea of enough.
That's a profound point.
Yeah.
The money algorithm can be a powerful tool, but it can also lead us down a path of endless striving for more, never feeling satisfied. We saw examples of this with Bernie Madoff and Gupta, incredibly wealthy individuals who still resorted to crime because they always wanted more.
It's a reminder that true wealth isn't just about accumulating money. It's about aligning your financial goals with your values and finding contentment in what you have.
One of the videos defined happiness as the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. Money can certainly help achieve this freedom, but it's not the only factor.
It's about finding that balance between financial well-being and living a fulfilling life. We've covered a lot of ground today exploring the history, psychology, and evolution of the money algorithm.
Absolutely, and we've learned how it can be both a force for good and a tool for manipulation.
Right.
But ultimately, understanding this algorithm empowers you to make more informed decisions and take control of your own financial destiny.
So deep divers, here's our final thought-provoking question for you. Knowing what you know now, what one small step will you take today to gain more control over your financial future?
Share your commitments and insights in the comments below. We'd love to hear what resonated with you and how you plan to apply this knowledge.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the money algorithm. Remember, stay curious, keep learning, and keep questioning. The power to shape your financial future is in your hands.